All right, Bulls Nation. It does not look good right now for Lonzo Ball, which is kind of what we expected, but it is officially come out now that Lonzo Ball is not going to participate in training camp, and he is doubtful to start the regular season. I would bet good money that he will not be ready to start at the regular season, but this is officially, some news source about Lonzo Ball. The Bulls front office, including Billy Donovan also, when they were on NBA TV for Summer League, they were very vague about Lonzo Ball. And then throughout the summer, it's been very vague about Lonzo Ball. They keep saying he's progressing, but not progressing enough. And it's like, what does that mean? Where are we with Lonzo Ball and his status? And now we know his status, which is that he's not going to be ready for training camp. Which, I mean, I don't know what a lot of Bulls fans were expecting, but for me personally, I was expecting this. I was like, he's not going to be ready for training camp because of how vague the Bulls have been about this whole thing. And unfortunately for Lonzo, this knee bruise is just not getting better. And that really, really concerns me. Jamal Collier, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm Ramona Shelbert. We're on the story today about this. You can read his tweets here. And then this is something that Jamal tweeted after tweeting the story, which is there's confidence about Ball's knee that it's structurally sound, saying that he's having discomfort, which is basically the reports that we got back in March. And then it says he's seen multiple knee specialists for the summer treatment and to determine the cause. That does not make me feel good at all because that means he's gotten second and third opinions and they still don't know what to do with him. So that really makes me concerned about this. And then obviously here's the story if you want to read it by ESPN. So again, this is what I expected for Lonzo Ball. I expected he was not going to be ready for training camp. I think he was kind of writing on the wall when the Bulls decided not to trade Kobe White, when they decided to sign Goran Dragic and apparently promise him 20 to 25 minutes per game. And I think it's very evident that the Bulls are really valuing Ayo Dosunmu right now. And it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen for Ayo in this upcoming season, but then after this season as well. You can check out my Ayo video up in the cards about his contract situation. But let's talk about this a little bit because let's just review the timeline of this all. Then I'm going to get into more of my thoughts here and then propose something at the end of this video. By the way, it's a scuffed little video today. I'm in the middle of changing my setup. So you can see a different camera angle. I have a new monitor. Things are all kind of scuffed right now, so just bear with me. Hope you guys enjoy the content, though, guys. I have some good stuff planned right now. But let's talk about this. David Kaplan talked with LeVar Ball back in May, and he said that Lonzo Ball will be ready for the 2022-23 season. And as you can see, this is not true. So for all you people that were questioning if LeVar Ball was a good source, well, you got your answer, because LeVar also said that Zach is not going to resign with the Bulls in free agency, and that, and I understand it's a belief, but at the end of the day, do not trust LeVar Ball. Don't trust what he says, and this includes what he says about his sons. Do not trust what this man says, okay? I'm also not a fan of David Kaplan. I don't know why he needed to bring LeVar Ball onto his show in the first place, but, I get it. It's clicks. And then we got this in July, end of July. Kaplan said that LeVar Ball talked to him and said that Lonzo's could be ready to go again, start of the season. So, and if you don't believe me with this, well, here's an article written about it. So, the Bulls front office, if you're gonna trust anybody, trust the Bulls front office. Trust them in what Lonzo's situation is. I know it's been vague, but here's the thing: I don't even think they even know what's going on. And honestly, I don't know if Lonzo really knows what's going on, because he's probably just as confused of why he's still having discomfort when this happened back in January, thought he'd be back in March, and yet now we're at the beginning of September, and this is still a problem. So, as you can kind of see, I'm very upset about this right now. And I'm not exactly upset at the Bulls training staff. I'm just upset because there's a lot of stuff that goes into this, if you want to read the LeVar stuff here. But for the Bulls, and for all you Bulls fans, I think that this news couldn't have come at a worse time because obviously we know that training camp is about to start up here soon, but also the Donovan Mitchell trade just happened. And I know Bulls fans are upset about the whole, the word continuity and how Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley have been basically preaching it since the trade deadline of this past season. And you know what? If you don't like the idea of this continuity thing, that is totally fine. And honestly, I can really understand why you're upset with this. But I think the reason why I'm a little upset right now is that you can't have continuity with this team if Lonzo Ball is not going to be available. And I know that, you can make the argument, well, continuity between the big three, because, like, it seemed like Levine, DeRozan, and Vucevic just couldn't quite get on the same page last season, and that's me saying that even though they were at the top of the East for a while. Lonzo is obviously a huge part of this, and when you have arguably your fourth best player not available, it's hard to create that chemistry with this, and it is just going to push this whole continuity idea on the back burner again. And so I question now, will the Bulls front office look to start thinking, how are we going to have our starting point guard available for each season? And this includes potentially looking at options outside Lonzo Ball. And this is also the reason why I'm a little upset about this whole thing is I think people are really like valuing Lonzo to an extreme as well. If you've seen previous videos on this channel, people call me a Lonzo hater. I'm not a Lonzo hater. I just think I'm being realistic. But there are severe Lonzo stands out here. For example, this Bulls fan here said back when we were facing the Bucks that the Bulls would have beat the Milwaukee Bucks if Lonzo Ball was healthy, which is clearly not true. I can't stand this. This blows my mind. So, people are all of a sudden going to start saying, hey, this season's over because Lonzo's not healthy to start the season. Dear God, I hope that he does come back pretty early, but he's not starting the season healthy, obviously. So that's what's making me really upset about this, because there's some Bulls fans that are just like, oh, season's over because Lonzo's not here. Like, Lonzo isn't going to determine whether the Bulls get the 1 seed or the 8 seed, okay? He doesn't make that much of a difference. Yes, he's a big part of this team, but a Bulls team with Lonzo and a Bulls team without Lonzo is not going to be 1 seed to 8 seed, okay? Let's just get that out of the way right now, because I don't want to hear any of that. And here's the second thing, and this is what I'm going to kind of go back to some of the stuff, what I said before Lonzo Ball was on this team. At the trade deadline, when the Bulls were rumored to get Lonzo, the trade deadline, the Bulls traded for Vucevic. I was saying that I did not want Lonzo Ball on this team, and one of the reasons why was that I think that Lonzo, sorry about the update noise. I think that Lonzo Ball is unfortunately injury prone. If you look at his career, Lonzo Ball has not been a healthy player in his career. And this is something that I was scared about, because I knew the Bulls, if they're going to trade for him, you obviously got to pay him. And as you can see here, this dude does not play games, right? He just can't stay healthy for an entire season. So that obviously was one of the reasons why. Now, when he got here, also when DeRozan was officially signed, I was like, okay, wait, no, this works perfectly now, because the Bulls have another shot creator, and Lonzo doesn't have to be a shot creator or a main playmaker for this team. He can just worry about being a catch and shoot guy, which is what we saw last season, but also worry about defense and running the fast break, which is what he's good at. And as you can see right now, we're having issues because he only played 35 games last season, and the Bulls are paying this man $20 million every single year. If he's not going to be able to be healthy every single season, or at least play more than half the games, I mean, we're basically saying that $20 million every single year is going down the drain. And that's what's making me upset right now, because I'm thinking about this Bulls team from here on out. Like, we're locked in with Lonzo for the next two seasons, and probably another season after that due to his player option. So this is huge when it comes to the Bulls, and we have to start really thinking, and I think it's the right time already to start having these discussions about Lonzo's future with this team. And I hate to say this, and again, if you want to call me a Lonzo hater, so be it. I'll take that. But I'm just being realistic right now, because people were concerned about Zach LaVine with his injury. I'm like, I am not concerned about Zach LaVine. I am concerned about this man right here, because as we see in his career, he misses a lot of games. So we need to really start having this discussion about Lonzo's future. And I think, honestly, the person that's going to be starting in his place, in my opinion, is going to be Ayo Dosunmu, and we might have to start talking about him becoming the starting point guard for this Bulls team, or look to be the starting point guard in the future for this Bulls team, because of Lonzo's inability to stay on the court. Because if there's one thing that Ayo has already proven, he's available, he's healthy, and that's something that he's already surpassed Lonzo in just his rookie season. And people are like, well, yes, Ayo's great, but he's not Lonzo Ball, and I totally agree. I'm not saying Ayo Dosunmu is not Lonzo Ball. I think Lonzo Ball is a significantly better player than Ayo Dosunmu currently, but Ayo Dosunmu is 22. He just had a phenomenal rookie season, and I think he's only going to get better. If you want to say that Iowa's not as good of a defender as Lonzo is, I would agree with you. But when it comes to on-ball defense, I think they're basically on par with each other. As you can see here, this is from Basketball Index, that Ayo Dosunmu was a top 5 point of attack defender last season, and so was Lonzo Ball. Obviously, limited time for Lonzo, but you know, if you want to talk about point of attack defense, Ayo Dosunmu is right up there among the best of the NBA. So I think Ayo Dosunmu is gonna bring that defense that we need, that Lonzo Ball usually brings. Now, I don't think Ayo is as good in the passing lanes, or he's not as good at in his help defense, but I think he's a phenomenal on-ball defender, which is what Lonzo was. Or that's his main job, was to be a point of attack defender. So I honestly think it's worth having this discussion now. I'm going to have another video coming out soon here talking about Ayo Dosunmu potentially being the starting point guard of the future for this team. But to end this video, I want to say, Lonzo Ball, man, I am hoping that he is going to get healthy. Like, this isn't me saying I want Lonzo to not succeed or to fail. I don't want that. I hate injuries. I think it's awful for an NBA player to get injured. It's not cool. I'm not cheering for him. I mean, I saw people cheer for Kevin Durant when he tore his Achilles, and that was a horrible thing to witness. Don't ever cheer for injuries. I never do such a thing. But I'm just being realistic when it comes to this Bulls team in the future and their decisions that they're going to have to make here, which is Lonzo Ball an actual option for this Bulls team for the future? Because right now, according to his track record, he can't stay healthy, and right now we're dealing with a guy that potentially could be out, at least in my eyes. Just going off of what Kendrick Nunn had to deal with this past season, like, I don't know if we're going to see Lonzo until January. And that scares me for this Bulls team, especially because this Bulls team is supposed to take a next jump up for this upcoming season. And I don't think they do that without Lonzo. So I need Lonzo to be here and get healthy. And I also hope he's working on his game, even though he isn't 100%. But man, oh man, I don't know what to do with this guy right now, because I am so concerned about his injuries. And even when he comes back, I expect Lonzo Ball to be on a minutes restriction. I expect the team's going to have a plan for him to only play in a certain amount of games, probably no back-to-backs. Like, that's going to limit his games even more. And can we even trust when he gets back that he's going to be back for the rest of the season? That's something that we have to really start thinking about right now. And it's not something I want to think about, but it's just being real. So unfortunate news for the Bulls today. Of course, this comes out right after the Donovan Mitchell news, and so everyone's like, oh my god, Bulls are being passed up by all these teams. And unfortunately, I do see the Bulls falling if they don't have Lonzo Ball healthy. So I really hope that Lonzo Ball can get healthy here soon, and he's back at full strength early in the season and for the rest of his career, because it's just so disappointing that this dude is just out, and he hasn't, at least in my eyes, made any progress since March for his knee. So look out for my Ayo Dosunmu video that I'm going to be dropping in a little bit here, probably in the next couple of weeks, about Ayo Dosunmu becoming maybe the starting point guard for this Bulls team. But also, just before I end this video, it is that time of the year. I am in college, so there's going to be a whole background change, as you could probably expect. There's boxes in the background, so just bear with me. I know that I have not uploaded in a month. I apologize, but it is also college stuff that is happening, so bear with me. I have some good stuff planned, some good content planned, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.